Lamar better than Vic? Yes. I'm taking Lamar Jackson over Michael
Larry
Vick.
Bird never had a bad season.
Jamar Chase is going to have 15 touchdowns.
He may still be the best player in the world. Sports fans, we are live. Welcome to the Sports Behavior Podcast. I'm your host, OG the Beast. Look, I'm so glad to be back, man. I took me a little layoff, man. I was on vacation. And you know, when I'm on vacation from work, every damn thing is on vacation. Real talk. Every damn thing is on vacation. I'm happy for the new year. Shout out to everybody for joining the chat in the new year. What is this, January 2nd? Already 2 days into the new year, man. It's been a great 2022. Now it's time to start opening up this 2023, man. For everything. Life, health, fitness, sports, everything, man. I hope everybody is ready for the new year, man. It's time to get yourself together, get your life in order, get everything in preparation together. I appreciate every single one of you guys for joining me. Shout out to them loyals over there on YouTube, man. I know I've been a little bit inconsistent, but I promise this every episode that I'm going to do better. But maybe 2023 is a new year. Maybe it's a better year for me. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate the regulars in the chat. We got some new cats in the chat as well, too. Riley is in the chat. DJ is in the chat. Appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate everybody for joining up. You think the Lions can beat the Packers? It's possible, but I think the Packers are out for blood. That's something we're going to talk about tomorrow. I'm going to have an entire football episode tomorrow. But today, I want to talk basketball, man. I want to talk basketball. I ain't spoke basketball in a while, and I think it's time we open up this show with some basketball. Tomorrow, we're going to have a whole football show, so make sure y'all tune in tomorrow around the same time. I like to stream. But today, we doing NBA. Tomorrow, for sure, we doing some NFL after the week clears. We still got a game going on tonight. We're going to see how that goes with Cincinnati and whatnot. So we'll see how that goes. But KD is ball. Look, he need to go ball. Kevin Durant need to go ball. But on some real shit, y'all, my Chicago Bulls are ass. And everybody's been ranting and raving, OG, how come you never talk about the Bulls when they lose? And how come you never talk about the Bulls? What can the Bulls do? My man Nick Bean just asked me in a TikTok live, what can the Chicago Bulls do to resurrect from being as Gabricio as we've been as of late? I'm going to keep it a whole buck. As much as I want to see my Chicago Bulls do well, I just don't think it's our time, right? And me as a Chicago Bulls fan, my vision is kind of blurred from time to time, where I think things should work, but when I look at it from outside of the box, I realize, look, this probably ain't gonna work. Look, man, Bulls ain't doing too hot, right? The main reason we ain't doing too hot, it's like, to be honest with you, I love what we put together. You know, a few veteran borderline superstars with some young talent around them. You know, scrappy players, ferocious players. But let's be honest. We miss Lonzo Ball for sure. On the defensive side of the ball, we are atrocious. And that's the only way I can see this working. Our best player being DeMar DeRozan. Zach LaVine is inconsistent, not only with health and getting himself back to rare form, but also just with play in general. It seems like him and DeMar DeRozan are bumping heads. I don't know what's going on here. He's been on a hot streak as of late. LaVine I'm talking about, but I don't know how long this is going to last. And let's be honest. A lot of people have been telling me for years, if DeMar DeRozan is your best player, you don't have a shot. And in this league, this beloved NBA league, you have to have superstar level talent to win a championship. I don't care who you are. You can count on one hand how many times a team has won a championship without superstar level talent. Chicago Bulls don't have it. Do we have talent? Yes. Do we have borderline star level talent? Of course. But do we have superstar level talent? The answer is no. And the only way that you will be able to win games, not only games, but get deep into the playoffs without superstar level talent is if you're ferocious defensively. And right now we're the bottom of the league defensively, and our record indicates that tremendously. It's bad out here for us. It's 100% bad. So I love what we've put together, young talent, borderline stars. But at the end of the day, I think our floor is probably one and done, but our ceiling maybe the Eastern Conference Finals, and I can't see us getting past that because the superstar level talent in the Eastern Conference is crazy. Think about it. Giannis Antetokounmpo, you got Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid. The level of superstar talent in the Eastern Conference weighs heavy, and I don't think the Bulls got what it takes in the East to survive those juggernauts that I just mentioned, and that's just a few of them. You know what I'm saying? That's actually so true, Tony. It's 100% true. Like, how many teams, honestly, throughout NBA history, you can date this back to the 1960s, how many teams in NBA history won a championship without at least one superstar-level talent? I mean, who you're going to have to probably date this back to the 70s. Wes Unseld? I mean, was he a superstar-level talent when he played? Because in the 80s, you had the teams that were winning in the 80s was Dr. J, Moses Malone, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, all superstar-level talents. In the 90s, it was Jordan, Hakeem, all superstar-level talents. In the 2010s, it was Tim Duncan, Kobe, Shaq, Wade, superstar-level talents. 2011 and up, you got LeBron, Kawhi, Steph, KD. Who has won without superstar-level talent? At least one player. You can count on one hand throughout NBA history, man. And it just the bottom line is the Chicago Bulls don't have that. So no matter how high I want to believe our expectations are or what I feel like we should exceed as far as expectations, the realism in me is saying we don't have a shot in hell. And that's just what it is. Can we beat great teams here and there? Yeah, probably so. But there's a reason why there's not that many upsets in the game of basketball, simply because it's a 4-game series. So the better team more likely will win more times than not in basketball than, let's say, a sport like football where you won and done. If you got to play a series, even if you're a great team and you facing a team that's better than you, chances are you're probably going to lose to the better team. Most of the time throughout NBA history, the better team wins in the NBA Finals. Point blank. It's not like football where you can get your random squad that comes out of nowhere, had no business being there, has a Cinderella-type story, and they win. So when it comes to the Chicago Bulls, man, either we blow this up and hope we draft well, or we need to find some way to acquire some superstar-level talent because I can't see it. But I want to speak on this Luka Doncic, this whole LeBron James spiel, this whole what have you. I saw ESPN posted a stat, right? And it says something along the lines of, if Luka Doncic keeps up this scoring pace, which he's been going ballistic, we'll talk about that in a minute. It was something along the lines of, if Luka Doncic keeps up this scoring pace, he could, and he were to play for at least 20 seasons like LeBron, he would become the all-time leading scorer with 13,000 assists and 12,000 rebounds, or 13,000 rebounds, 12,000 assists, right? That's that's the top 5 career all-time type shit, right? That's become the expectation for Luka Doncic. A little late, but I'm here, OG. Appreciate it, man. I appreciate you showing up. But the thing about it is, you're basing that stat as if Luka Doncic were to be able to hold this trajectory that he's on right now and be consistent with it over the next 15 seasons. Is it possible? Probably so. But is it likely? The answer is no. And that's where I feel like the disrespect for LeBron comes in at. Because I think people are undermining what LeBron has been able to accomplish up until today for his career, right? Pay attention to a guy like LeBron James. Right now, LeBron is 527 points away from breaking Kareem's record. 527 points, which means in about 25 to 30 games maybe, he should have that record. Easy. 527 points. Don't let him do what he did a few nights ago, where he dropped 47, and then he come out here tomorrow and drop 50, And then 2-3 days later, he dropped 30 and then 50 again. Now he's 200 points away. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. 527 points away. Let's say it takes him 20 games to get it done. He passes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all-time scoring leader. Tremendous honor, right? But what did it take to get to that point? Because LeBron James, at this juncture of his career, has done things that nobody has ever done. Nobody's ever done even 15 years and up, let alone in his 20th season. And LeBron James is what, averaging 36 and 7 on 50% shooting from the field? So people are saying, where's LeBron's regression? Nobody sees his regression. His regression is there, but it's just not on the offensive end of the ball. Do you know where LeBron's regression is at? Before I get to that, though, I want to get to where people really have LeBron misunderstood. And I'm a guy that's known as like a LeBron hater because I'm a Jordan guy. I'm really not a LeBron hater. I used to hate LeBron because he used to beat the shit out of my Bulls. But the older and older and older and older I got, the more I started to appreciate LeBron James and what he brings to the game of basketball. And that's just real talk. It's a lot of y'all out here hating on Bron for no reason. I got a legit reason. Him with the Miami Heat used to stump a mud hole in my Chicago Bulls. With the Cavs, too. They in our division. They used to stump a mud hole in our asses, point blank, period. That was my reasons for growing up hating LeBron James. Well, not even growing, I was grown, whatever. But those was my reasons for having legitimate hatred towards LeBron James. He used to stump a mud hole in our ass. I still feel like to this day, had he not took his ass to Miami back in 2011, we would have won that ring and beat the Dallas Mavericks because we faced them in the Eastern Conference Finals and we lost. I think if he stays in Cleveland with Shaq, Antoine Jameson, them, we stomp a mud hole in their ass. We face the Mavs and we get that ring. That's just my opinion. Shout out to my man KB. Thank you for joining the stream. Tubby, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Kyrie just got a poster versus Spurs. When the last time y'all seen Kyrie dunk? I ain't seen Kyrie dunk in a minute. But LeBron James, though, man, back to this cat, man. LeBron James is truly special. And I don't think you guys are appreciating what you watching, right? We've never seen before and probably will never see what he's doing again. The way he takes care of his body is a tremendous showcase of how he values not only his personal health, but the severity in which he treats the game. And I think that goes unnoticed because a lot of cats say they treat the game and take the game seriously, but I don't think they take it as serious as Mike took it, as serious as LeBron took it, as serious as Kobe took it. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people say it, but I don't think they truly believe it, right? To do what he's doing at this age is unfathomable, Chad. Unfathomable. Like, it showcases a rare combination of work ethic, dedication, discipline, and personal accountability. Straight up. Like, on some real shit. Is he the same player he was 10 years ago? Of course not. Right? But LeBron James still at the age of 38, 39 years old, he's giving you 28, 6, and 8 on 50% shooting. He's damn near averaging 30 points. Like, he's damn near averaging 30. At 38, he just had his 38th birthday. Damn near averaging 30. Regardless of how you slice the pie, that's massively impressive. But like I mentioned earlier, people are saying, well, where's the regression? He's giving you 28, 6, and 8, 28, 7, and 8, 50% shooting. Where is the regression, right? What is the difference between, let's say, this Lakers team right now and let's say the 2008 Cavs, the 2009 Cavs? What's the difference between those two teams? Are we going to sit here and can we make a legitimate case right here, right now and say this Lakers team that he's on right now is worse than that 2007, 2008 Cavs team? Can we make a case for that? Legitimately. Who has the better roster? The 2022 Lakers or the 2007 Cavs? Then you ask yourself, if you can say the 2022 Lakers obviously have better or more skilled players than the 07 Cavs did, 08 Cavs, 09 Cavs, whatever. So why isn't LeBron's 28, 6, and 7 transitioning into wins? That's where his regression comes in at. LeBron can no longer sustain what he does on the offensive side of the ball while still being an elite level defender and leader on the defensive side of the ball. That's where he's regressed at. He hasn't regressed on the stat sheet offensively. That's something he could still provide. Where he regressed at is through leadership, primarily on the defensive side of the ball, and his ability to complement his team both offensively and defensively like he could a decade ago. That's where the regression lies at. It's got nothing to do with offense. That's the difference between why the Lakers are 4 to 5 games below 500 with a better roster than the 2007 Cavs who won 50-plus games. And also, another thing is that shit wasn't going to fly in the Western Conference anyway. The league is way tougher than it was a decade ago, right? That's another thing you could add to the table. The amount of superstar-level talent, superstar-level players in this league is light years ahead of what it was 10, 15 years ago when LeBron was dominating the Eastern Conference, right? So I think his regression is more so in the eyes of what people aren't paying attention to. Like if you're a guy that just looks at the stat sheet and you say, well, I can't really pinpoint where LeBron is regressing at the age of 38 years old, that's where it is. It's you can't pinpoint it because you can't see it unless you literally watching the games. Pay attention to his leadership or lack thereof on the defensive side of the ball and also his ability to play defense on a consistent basis. That's where his regression is at. How about them Giants? We'll talk about that on Tuesday, tomorrow. We'll talk about that tomorrow. It's too close not to make a case. Both are bad, yeah. To me, if he wins one more ring, he got my GOAT debate. There's nothing wrong with that, man. I'm not mad at anybody who says LeBron James is the GOAT. Look at what he's accomplished throughout his career. It's hard. Like me as a Jordan guy, it's hard to fight against LeBron James. But it's what makes me still continue to do it is just the simple fact that Jordan has had a perfect, immaculate career. Not very many NBA players all time could say they've had a career like Michael Jordan, like if anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like Jordan's literally had a perfect career. He's never had a bad series. You know, he's had bad games here and there, but he's never had a bad series. But when we get back to this Luka Doncic situation, the ESPN clip said if Luka Doncic continues this trajectory of scoring and especially what he's doing on the offensive end, he could end his career if he would have played 20 years, right, as the all-time leading scorer, 13,000 rebounds, 12,000 assists. Is that possible? Yes, it's possible, but is it likely? The answer is probably no. And that's why I say we undermine and disrespect what LeBron has brought to the table, right? Now, granted, Luka over the last 8 games has been nothing short of amazing. More 50-point games than D. Wade in his entire career. I felt that was a funny stat. When I saw that, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Luka Doncic, more 50-point games in the last 8 games than Dwayne Wade in his entire career. That's crazy, right? Luka on the year is 34, 8, and 8 on 51% from the field, 36 from 3, and 76 from the free throw line. Tremendous player. Tremendous player. But let's compare what Luka Doncic is doing to some other all-time great scorers. I cherry-picked about 7 or 8 all-time great scorers, and I want to explain something to you guys before we get into that, right? Usually, when you're an all-time great scorer, I've noticed something similar. Most of the all-time great scorers get to the top of the mountain, right? And they coast at the top of that mountain, whether it may fluctuate up or down a little bit, but they coast at the top of that mountain for about 4 to 5 years to where they hover around 29 to 32 points per game, usually for about 4 to 5 seasons. This goes for most all-time greats, right? For instance, LeBron James from 03 to 09 was 29, 7, and 7. That's a 5-year stretch. He averaged 30 or more twice during that same stretch. Karl Malone from 89 to 92. That's a 4-year stretch. He averaged 29 and 11. We're talking about consecutive years, not bouncing around, right? To where they get to the top of that mountaintop and they coast for a certain amount of years before they drop off. Now, the drop off might be from 29 to 25 and they stay consistent and they fluctuate from 25 to 23 to 26 back to 25. Some guys have consistency along that level, but they never quite reach back up to that plateau that they hit earlier on in their career. And these are majority all-time great scorers, right? Look at Jordan, for example, and he's a rare exception. Jordan from 87 to 93, right? That's 7 consecutive years. He was 33, 6, and 6, and he averaged 30 for 7 straight seasons before he retired in 93, and when he came back, he averaged like 25, 26, right? See, his decline was slight, but then he was steady. He averaged 30 again, I think, once after that. But I'm talking about consecutively. All-time great scorers have gone through this, right? T-Mac from 01 to 04, that's a 4-year stretch. He was giving you 28, 7, and 5. He averaged 30-plus twice during that stretch. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from 71 to 75, that's a 5-year stretch where he averaged 30 points and 15 rebounds, and he averaged 30 twice during that stretch. Do you see the pattern from these all-time great scorers? I'm going to give you 2 more. Kobe Bryant from 03 to 08, he averaged 29, 6, and 5. That's a 6-year stretch, and he averaged 30 or more twice during that span. 6 years. You see, Kobe's was 6 years. Mike's was 7 years. LeBron's was 5 years. Malone's was 4 years. Most all-time great scorers have a 4 to 5 year stretch where when they hit that mountaintop, they coast up there for about 4 to 5 years, and then they drop off. Now, the drop-off for some may be massive. The drop-off for others could be like LeBron's drop-off, where he went from averaging 29 to 25 and never averaged less than 25 for the rest of his career, right? Which is incredible. Last but not least, you got Harden, one of the greatest scorers of all time. From 2016 to 2020, that's a 5-year stretch. He averaged 31, 8, and 6 and averaged 30 or more 3 times during that 5-year span. I say all of that to say this. That is what you're seeing from Luka Doncic right now. Last year, he averaged 28. This year, right now, he's averaging 34 points per game on pace to do what Harden did back in 2012 and averaged 35, 36 points. He just hit the top of that ascension of his mountain. Now, it's yet to be seen how long he'll coast on the top of that mountain. Now, next year he may average 32, which is a slight dip, but it's still on that elite plateau. The year after that, he might average 30, which is another slight dip, but it's still at that elite plateau. Now, what if after that 3rd season he drops from 32 to 28, right? Which is still on that elite plateau, but it's a significant drop from 3 years ago where he was averaging 34, 35 points per game. And then what if that 28 goes from 28 to 25, and from 25 consistent maybe for another 5 years, and then plateaus like most superstars do, like Kobe did towards the back end. But the difference is that hasn't happened yet for LeBron. That has not happened yet for LeBron. So while we're ranting and raving about how great Luka Doncic has been playing, we have to pump our brakes with the LeBron James comparisons, simply because we don't know or can't promise that same trajectory for Luka that we've seen from LeBron James. Because what we see in LeBron do is something that has never been done throughout the history of the game. And nobody, I mean nobody, takes the game more serious than LeBron James. Nobody. Luka got 541 in the second quarter. What you talking about? 54? Did you mean 50? Luka got what in the second quarter? Repeat that. Weef, what you talking about? Luka got what in the second? 541 what? 541 what? But like I'm saying, though, man, y'all got to understand what LeBron James is doing is something. 5 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like, but that doesn't mean he won't finish the season averaging 32, 33, 34 points per game. But people are overreacting, and I get it. He's balling right now. Luka's probably the front runner for MVP. We're going to talk about that in a second. But Luka's up there. He's in the MVP ladder, no doubt about it. But this is something we've seen from pretty much every all-time great scorer, where they go on this scoring tantrum year by year, where they averaging anywhere from 28 to 35 points per game for 4 to 5 consecutive seasons. My question is, how long will Luka Doncic keep this up? Jordan averaged 30 or more for 7 straight seasons. Never been done throughout the history of the game. 30 or more for 7 consecutive seasons. Can Luka get on that trajectory, right? And what if Luka rambles off for the next 8 to 10 years? 34, 32, 31, 30, 29, 34, 33. Can he do that? Is it possible in today's game? Of course. But am I putting my money on that? Hell no. Hell no. Like I told you guys, LeBron had a stretch from 05 to 09 where he averaged 29, 7, and 7. That's a 5-year stretch. Throughout that stretch, he scored 30 or more points 2 times. Harden had one of the most incredible scoring stretches I've ever seen in my life. From 16 to 20, he averaged 31, 8, and 6. That's a 5-year stretch. And through that stretch, he averaged 30 or more 3 times. That's incredible. So it remains to be seen how consistent Luka Doncic can be on the offensive side of the ball. All I'm seeing from Luka right now is the same thing I've seen from Kobe. It's the same thing I've seen from LeBron, the same thing I've seen from Jordan, the same thing I've seen from T-Mac, James Harden, and all of the rest of the all-time great scorers. He's at that first year of that mountaintop. Now, what if next season he come out here and average 23 and completely plateaus? Now we having a different conversation. So let's pump the brakes on, can he catch up to LeBron on an all-time scoring list? Let's ease out of that conversation because that's one I'm definitely not trying to have. But if you do want to create a conversation about that, Luka Doncic is definitely the only guy that we could have that conversation about when it comes to catching LeBron because he's beat him fastest to everything. Every statistical category, he's passed up LeBron when it comes to being the fastest to do so. So Luka is comparable to the situation, but by comparing Luka to me, that's completely being disrespectful to what LeBron James has done throughout the duration of his career. This 20-year career is incredible. LeBron has 28, 9, and 4 assists to start the third. Look, like, he's coming for it, bro. Like, he's coming for it, bro. Kyrie is hot. Castro, what's popping, man? Like, that Kyrie putback was crazy. I didn't see it. I'm gonna go up here and watch the game in a minute. You know what I'm saying? But before I get out of here, I want to discuss some award predictions because we did have some award predictions before the season started. And I spoke on who I thought was going to win these awards. And let's see where we at as of right now. Second day into the season, right? My MVP coming into the year was Luka Doncic. That was my prediction for MVP. The favorites right now, Luka, Joker, Tatum, right? I'm going to stay with my pick for Luka Doncic. I just felt like Luka was going to lead the league in every statistical category outside of rebounding. Like, I just felt like Luka, he's got the ball in his hands too much. So I'm going to stay with Luka Doncic as my preseason pick. And, you know, a few days into the new year, we're going to stay with Luka Doncic. My defensive player of the year coming into the season was Anthony Davis. Obviously, that's not going to happen because he's so inconsistent with health. So I'm going to have to go with Jaren Jackson Jr. I know he just came back, but he's playing phenomenally on the defensive side of the ball. And I just think he's the front runner for it right now. Sixth man of the year, I had Christian Wood, who's not playing bad, but I think Russell Westbrook coming off the bench is playing better. So that's who I'm going to roll with. Rookie of the year, I had Jabari Smith. I thought he would be better given the role in the minutes that he's playing. But I don't know what I was thinking betting against Paolo. So definitely I think Paolo's going to run away with it. Coach of the year, I had Nate McMillan. Who cares for Coach of the year? Who cares? I think out of all of these awards, I think Coach of the Year might be the most politics involved with Coach of the Year, I think, in my opinion. Change it to Nick Claxton. That's not bad. That's not bad. Nick Claxton has been balling. I think, wasn't Nick Claxton starting, though? Ain't Nick Claxton the starting center? For Luka to pass Karl Malone, he'd have to average 30 points for the next 12 seasons, playing every game. I don't think so. I don't think he has to do that. It's about the amount of minutes he's getting. Luka plays 40 minutes a night. I don't think he needs to average 30 because here's a fun fact. Karl Malone never averaged 30 in his entire career. Never. And he's second all time in scoring. So I don't think Luka needs to average 30 to pass up Karl Malone. I just feel like people need to put some respect on LeBron James's name. And I know Luka Doncic is playing outside of his mind, right? But we've seen this before. Will he plateau like LeBron did, like Malone did, like Jordan did, like T-Mac did, like Kareem did, like Kobe did, Harden did? Like when we saw Harden putting up 34, folks was going crazy. They thought Harden was going to be doing this shit for the next decade because he was unguardable. But then all of a sudden, James Harden went from averaging 28, 30 points per game to averaging 25 to averaging 21. And it happened just like that. So we got to pump our brakes, man. Luka Doncic is playing outside of his mind, but to say that he's going to maintain the level of consistency that LeBron James has up to this date, it's hard to say that, man. It's truly hard to say that. Yeah, but I ain't going to hold you guys up too much longer, man. I appreciate you guys joining in and tapping in, man. W's in the chat if you enjoyed yourself. I love talking NBA with you guys, man. I know that was a quick little segment, quick little show, but that's all I got for you guys, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I really do. I love every single one of you guys, man. I will be back on tomorrow around the same time, 6:30, between 6 and 7 to talk some NFL. But as always, man, I love y'all. Peace and love. Happy New Year, everybody. OG out. What's up, y'all? OG the Beast here, and I appreciate you tapping into the Sports Behavior Podcast. If you made it this far, I greatly appreciate you. But if you want to stay connected with me, go ahead and drop me a follow on each and every one of these socials. That's how you stay locked in, man. I appreciate y'all stopping in. We talk football. We talk basketball here. And once again, you are greatly appreciated for stopping by. OG out.